Okay, it's time to possibly piss some people off. It's probably we're probably gonna piss some people off, but anyway, um, diversity hiring. How DEI has been like forced in the video games lately, and a lot of those games are just failing completely. And then, like, of course, the drama with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like, bruh. Once again, I am sorry to Japan because America is trying to like fuck y'all over in their own way. But anyway, let's piss some people off. Not the Japanese. Um, Diversity hiring. These days, it's more like, this specific career is low on female workers. So now you'll have to diversity hire and make sure you meet a certain quota of this type of person so that, you meet certain standards or rights or whatever. The BS. Can you act to Andy Pants Gaming? Is it? Yeah, I got you after this. But here we go. All right, let me just show you what we're getting into. The failures of diversity hiring. Because come on, bro. Like, let's be real. You should always hire the person that is worthy of the job, that meets all the criteria, that meets all the standards that were set, without having to lower the bar for a certain group of people just to meet that standard. Like, you got to make sure you hire the right person for the right job. That's all it comes down to. Whatever, but when you steal my job, that's when the slurs come out. Well, there's also that type of diversity hiring. Let's get into it, though.
As the nation celebrates Black History Month, it's important to recognize modern-day trailblazers who are breaking down barriers and opening doors for others. Christine Larson is the first Black female battalion chief in the Los Angeles City Fire Department.
Okay.
And she continues to help other minorities climb up the ladder.
But is she worthy of the job? Does she do her job to the standard that surpasses the norm, or at least meets the norm?
Right, because while
not the minimal, the norm.
Everything's up in flames, what we really need is a first Black female ever to do a thing.
No.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. It's not just a first Black female to do a thing.
She's lesbian.
It's the first Black female LGBT person to do a thing.
Happy Pride! My name is Christine Larson. I'm a battalion chief with the Los Angeles City Fire Department, and what an honor for the LGBT community to be representing here.
How many points is that? This Christine Larson...
Bro, that's a lot of points, but it's at least 3 different categories of points. Black, LGTB, Black woman, LGBTQIA plus whatever. So that's at least 3 different categories of points. Depending on how they rate those points, that's how many points that is. If they are 5 points each, 15 points.
Lady must be really high up on that oppression chart. Or is it being low that's a good thing? I'm not sure. But what I mean is that Christine must be so oppressed by all those diverse...
Low standard-wise, high in oppression chart-wise.
...points that her life must be a constant struggle just to survive.
Of course, it's not easy being the first in any field. She says over the years, some of her toughest battles came from when she wasn't responding to calls.
I think the biggest thing is, as a female, going into a non-traditional...
Her toughest battles were when she wasn't responding to calls? You mean to tell me that there were verbal altercations or getting treated in some way that was more difficult than climbing into a burning building and pulling people out and trying to douse the flames with water and trying to save as many lives as you can? You're telling me a possible verbal interaction that probably just hurt your feelings in some way, shape, or form, let's be real, was harder than climbing into a burning building and trying to save lives? Fuck out of here.
Job. Women are not brought up, with fire trucks and police cars and all that kind of stuff. So the biggest challenge is just getting over that hurdle.
What a sheltered life you've lived if your toughest battle was growing up without a fire truck. That being said, recently California has been set on fire again.
A lot
It
of
seems
times,
like there's a
couple
big
times.
fire in California almost every year, and there's even a song about it. But this most recent fire in Palisades and Eaton has been particularly bad because it's caused billions of dollars in damage. About 30 people have lost their lives, and over 5,000 homes were destroyed, which means a lot of
And people are still living there, and some people are not a lot of people, but there's a minority of people that still want to move there.
people have become homeless. Now, there have been many controversies around this event, but probably the most hilarious thing to come out of the fires is this diversity, equity, and inclusion video from 2019 that resurfaced, featuring our first black female lesbian battalion chief, Christine Larson.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody...
No, they don't need to look shit like me. I just need them to look like they can do the fucking job without me having to worry about shit. I don't give a shit how they look. Safety first, bitch. Make sure you can do the job. The fuck?
might understand their situation better.
Look like you? You're morbidly obese and look very out of shape. If I'm about to die in a fire, I don't want to be rescued by someone who looks like that.
Hell
I want to
no.
be rescued by someone who looks like an elite athlete. If I'm paying for
Fuck
people
yeah.
to save my life in an emergency, they shouldn't be fat. If you're like a police officer or a firefighter or in the military, you should lose your job if you're this overweight and out of shape.
Facts. And I know a lot of people are going to hear that and be like, but how dare you say that? But, and it's like, nah, bro, ain't no but about it. Like, you know what it is. Like, you don't want somebody looking like they just had Krispy Kreme for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the past 6 months to be waddling their bitch ass into a burning building trying to save you, or be outside it dressed up as if they were a part of a team that's supposed to be trying to save you. You don't want to see that shit. You be like, oh fuck, hey yo, nah, I don't think we're gonna be able to get out the building today. I mean, we might die in this fire. Now I can see outside the window here. Yeah, it ain't looking good, bruh. I think we're done. Like, you don't want to see that shit, yo.
I mean, she's bigger than Private Pile. This is what used to be considered helplessly overweight in the 1980s. So I actually looked up the fitness standards for the Los Angeles Fire Department, and shockingly, they're the same for men and women. I think that's a first. However, that still doesn't change the fact that most of the activities of a firefighter require someone who is strong, and men are biologically way stronger than women. Not just that, but also people seem to forget that women have periods where a lot of them can be basically crippled for up to a week out of every month, and a burning building's not going to wait for them to finish their cycle. I really...
Facts. Burning buildings be like, this is the right time for me to attack. Let me test something on the chat. I think I fixed the issue earlier. Test. Hey, I fixed it. All right, let's go.
I think these DEI people are heavily misunderstanding the danger of flooding women into these roles, especially when you give one a leadership position who says stuff like this.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or, you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Bitch, what? Bitch, what? Ain't no fucking way. She just said, you got yourself stuck in the wrong place. It's your fault if I can't pull you out of a fire. It's your fault if I have to carry you out of a fire. It's your fault. Nah, you shouldn't have been standing over there when the fire got started. That's your fault. Now you expect me to do my job? The fuck wrong with you? Bitch, you better... Hell nah, bruh.
You're gonna pay for that.
You hit that guy. He shouldn't have been standing there.
I mean, I'll give her credit for not denying that women are biologically weaker than men, but did she say what I think she just said?
She did.
Oh shit, you're stuck in a fire? You
It's
really
your fault.
screwed up. Anyway, I don't have time to help you because you shouldn't be in that position in the first place.
They blame you for being on fire. This is the assistant chief of the fire.
That's
Oh
cool.
my God. How does this happen?
So needless to say, this statement from Christine Larson pissed a lot of people off. Like, a lot of people. Like, basically everyone, considering that she's in a leadership position.
Fire her immediately.
Yo, they're not gonna fire her. They're not, because she's their first black female LGBTQIA alphabet AEIOU sometimes Y hire or chief or whatever. She's like their first chief person in that position. They can't just fire her now.
Immediately, expeditiously fire this woman.
Right? If you aren't going to save my life in a fire, why the hell are you a firefighter? I can't believe she not only said that, but some editor thought it was a good idea to put that in a pre-recorded video where they could have cut that idiotic statement out. I mean,
Does anybody else see the face in this building right here? On the far left wall. It's like there's an eye here, and then there's an eye here. Down here, the second eye on the right. Or second window. And it's like, here's a crooked smile. It's like, but he's like, hey. That's cool.
audacity of
Never mind.
a
I was gonna say
firefighter
reminds me of the Gumby.
saying that it's your fault that you got stuck in a fire. What if a bookshelf fell on him? What if he panicked, ran into something while leaving the house, and incapacitated himself on accident? Anyway, after the Palisades fire started, more people have...
I see more faces in these buildings. Here's another face. Eye, open mouth, little goatee. And then here's another face over here. Eye, open mouth. And then like little mustache. I don't know. Or just his face is being blocked. The rest of his face is being blocked by this.
Have decided that they've had enough of the diversity, equity, and inclusion narrative and have begun poking fun at it more than usual by sharing memes that say things like, if diversity hiring is so great, then why does everyone get mad when they're called a diversity hire?
DEI infantilizes women and minorities, and it causes people to doubt whether any particular woman or minority actually earned their way and truly is the best of the best for their role.
And look, I'm not a fire expert or an expert in central planning, so I can't entirely say something like no one's house would have burned down if it wasn't for that nasty DEI hiring. However, what I can certainly say is that all this DEI stuff makes people feel like they aren't the priority. It makes people feel like the government cares more about hiring the first black female lesbian battalion chief than it cares about the safety of the people that they're supposed to be protecting. So when the LA water chief...
That's exactly what it is, bro. That's exactly what it is. They don't care if the person is fit for the job. As a matter of fact, depending on how what the job is like, as the fire chief, it might just be commanding people, like telling people do this, do that, do that, instead of them actually going in and being active on the field. You know what I'm saying? Being the active ones, like running in and out of the building. They might just be like telling people what to do from the outside. So they might have promoted her to that position just because they were like, all right, she's out of shape, can't really run in and out of firing, burning buildings like that. Might as well just give herself a double win here and put her fat ass into a higher position, and she could be the first black lesbian female in that position. So we win on with the LGBTQIA plus whatever community, and we win with the body positivity movement community. Sorry to hear about unwanted touching in the workplace. I'm trans CEO. Congratulations, you won the company. R.I.P. That's diversity hire.
makes $750K a year and says this, it pisses people off.
It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past.
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the number one thing that attracted me to this role.
Really? Did that social justice help put water in those empty fire hydrants? I mean, I've done enough research to know that a 100+ million gallon reservoir was left empty for almost a year because there was a tear in the evaporation cover. Now, I've done a bit of research on this, and it seems like...
Hey, yo, whose job is it to make sure that thing got filled and stayed filled and repaired? Like, what the fuck? That's a huge crisis waiting to happen.
Like there is no way in hell it should take a year to fix this. This seems like extreme negligence, especially considering that California is almost constantly in a drought.
There's been a lot of talk about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being offline. If it were full of water,
Would that have made a difference in your opinion?
I would think so. It's 117 million gallons of water.
Further, even though Governor Newsom says all the reservoirs are up and full, that appears not to be true. The LA Department of Water and Power own data shows that 5 other reservoirs are empty at 0%.
I mean, for how often the government declares a drought in California, they really seem
A drought in Cali. Plus, 5 other reservoirs are at 0% full, are empty. Holy, yo, why are people still living in Cali again? Why are some people still wanting to move to Cali again? Like, bro, low-key, I'm trying to move to Nevada.
to waste a shitload of water. How many more houses would have been saved if this water chief focused on doing her damn job instead of social justice? Look at this guy here trapped in his house. Do you think that in this moment he gives a fuck about social justice? His life might be over. He can't escape his house. He could be living his last moments with his dog and a friend of his. And I bet he's thinking, man, I am so glad that the first black lesbian female got to be a fire battalion chief. You see how stupid this is? It's almost as stupid as the mayor, Karen Bass, hiring this water chief at double the rate of the previous water chief, yet proposed.
Holy shit. Just look at that shit. Now he only really shows us two of the windows. I wonder if I can find that video. But here, let me see real quick. Can I find that California fire trapped in house? Maybe California fire trapped in house. I think this is it. This is a 9-minute one. This is a 1-minute one. Let's check this one first.
This was going viral to all over the place. Look at this video. So this was a guy who didn't heed the warning, stayed behind.
I've seen
and
this.
Look at what happened here. I mean, to be surrounded by flames in all direction with your dog there. So this is not what you want to have happen. So as you know,
do we have an update of
No.
what happened to?
I mean,
that gentleman?
if he was able to post the video, I hope he ended up being okay. I hope he was able to get out, but I don't have
smoke. It's being put out.
An exact update on what exactly happened.
And this is one of many just heartbreaking visuals that have developed since the Pacific Palisades fire broke out.
Right.
And this is a prime example of why you should leave when they tell you to.
But there's like smoke over here. So is it being put out right now? So maybe he should. Maybe he's fine. I'm pretty sure he's fine. I mean, how else would he have uploaded the video? Yeah, he may have recorded it while being trapped in this fire, but how else would he have been able to upload it? I mean, yeah, you could say he probably stopped it and uploaded it as soon as he finished recording it, and you know, maybe he did pass in that fire. But as we can see, there's like smoke onto the right over here, so he seems like he's fine, right? Seems like he's fine, and. But he seems like he should be fine. Looks like they're putting out the fire and he should be fine. And then he got out to safety and then uploaded the video.
He's thinking, man, I am so glad that the first black lesbian female got to be a fire battalion chief. You see how stupid this is? It's almost as stupid as the mayor, Karen Bass, hiring this water chief at double the rate of the previous water chief, yet proposed a budget cut that was large enough to close down 16 different fire stations right before this big fire in a state that has so many wildfires that home insurance is through the roof.
I don't think there's any question that our department is the best at fighting fires. We do it better than anybody in the world.
I think a lot of people would disagree with that. I think that these diversity hires are so ideologically possessed that they forget about the consequences of them not doing a good job. The less qualified for the job they are, the more people get hurt. And when you hire someone because they're a woman or because they're black or have certain sexual preferences, and not because they're the best candidate, people lose their homes and become homeless. I've watched a number of videos on this about people who have recently gone homeless and are struggling because they don't have any close family or friends to house them and can't get a hotel because they are fully booked or too expensive.
Always gotta be prepared. Also, that's what happens when you burn bridges. That person who didn't have family that they could turn to or friends that they can turn to, that they either burned bridges or they just did not have any friends like at all or family. But anyway.
Also, some people have been gracious enough to inhale polluted air to actually film what the neighborhoods look like after the fire, and it's just devastating. House after house burnt down, entire cars melted. You have to worry about looters now. Did we talk about how big uncontrolled disasters invite people in to loot? So if you were lucky enough to not have your house burned down, you might get back to it to find out that someone broke in and stole your stuff. Well, if there's anything left. This YouTuber here lost his entire house in the fire. He lost his computer, he lost sentimental items, he lost photos.
This is my favorite room in the house. This is the living room. It was newly renovated. I'd renovated it right when I moved in a few years ago. And it was a great space to just hang out, and a lot of good memories were made here with friends, family. We used to play board games at this table. You can see the chairs. Chairs are still, they're metal chairs, so they kind of retain their shape. The table, not so much.
Would his house have been saved if that 100 million gallon reservoir had water in it? I
Probably.
think that this video is a great example of how the DEI stuff pisses on the human side of this.
It's pretty crazy.
The bridges literally burned. The ones in here in Cali, or are you talking about the one in the Palisades? Also, they got lucky as fuck to be contained because of the rainfall.
Crazy. It's a crazy feeling. I'm still processing it. Everyone's very concerned about me, understandably, but I think I'm just kind of in shock and disbelief at this point still. So it might be a few days for it to really hit me and sink in. The feeling of homelessness, of not having a place to come back to, is just now starting to hit. So we'll see how that progresses.
And when I say that the DEI stuff pisses on the human side of things, I think there is quite a bit of evidence here that the diversity hires don't care at all about the people they're in service of, and they are just using diversity, equity, and inclusion as a grift to promote their own self-interest and enrich their bank accounts.
I don't think it's the diversity hires that's doing that. It's the people that's hiring the diversity hires that's doing that.
We can start with former Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti. We have an LA Times article from 2020 called, LA has hired more female firefighters. Why is the department still dominated by men? Well, let's see if we can figure it out. It says that Mayor Garcetti wanted to increase the number of female firefighters from 3% to 5%. Wait, who wrote the headline for this article? We hired like 10 women in a field that's 97% men. Why are firefighters still 95% men? The better question is, why does there need to be more women in this field in the first place? Is anyone asking for that? Outside of a politician looking for a PR campaign?
Yeah, something like firefighting should not, the test to become a firefighter, because I don't really know how the entire process, but I know that to become like a police officer, I know that there's like this test, like a physical test you gotta do. I'm pretty sure there's a physical test for the firefighters as well. And to become a firefighter, the physical test should not be dumbed down so that women can pass it. It should not be dumbed down for that reason. It should just be as is. And if a woman can pass the same test as a man, bet they definitely deserve a spot in there, because something as critical as firefighting, and definitely the police training and stuff like that, those things need you have to have certain physical quality to do certain things in that. So having DEI hire in those type of professions should not be a thing.
The article goes on to complain that there's too much nepotism in the LA Fire Department, and people only get hired if they know somebody, and then it quotes a lawyer who represents firefighters in discrimination cases against the city, whatever that means, and she says, women still face the false premise that firefighting is men's work. What's false about that premise? Women have biological limitations that make them less fit for a job that requires them to break down doors or physically carry people out of emergency situations. Not only is it more dangerous for people to be rescued by someone who isn't as strong, it's also dangerous to the rescuer and the rescuer's team. That's why this field is dominated by men.
I think that we can all agree that if it's a muscle mommy, she's welcome to the team. Go ahead, be a firefighter.
This is obvious to everyone.
Having somebody that looks like you is invaluable, and it doesn't matter what career it is.
Yeah, people don't always value that in firefighters. This woman on Twitter says, I'm 5'5" and 110 pounds. I don't want a firefighter who looks like me showing up at my place to save me. The customers don't want this shit because this DEI stuff has nothing to do with providing people a service that gives them better protection against fires. Oh, and what a coincidence. Our first black female lesbian battalion chief is in this article too. By the way, how much is she making off this grift? $400,000 a year.
Yo, even in like the article, Chris Larson, the first black female battalion chief. Hey, we gotta make sure we gotta make sure our readers know. Hey, how y'all feel about that? Is it good? You good? Yeah, we did good. All right, yeah.
By the way, how much is she making off this grift? $400,000 a year. Holy shit, they're paying her over $1 million every 3 years.
$487,000 per year. Bro, if I knew a diverse a firefighter chief could be making that, shit, I would have been trained to be a firefighter when I was little. Shit.
And we can tell this is all about the paycheck, considering her statement of, if you're a man who got stuck in a fire, then you're an idiot. And speaking of, I was able to find a different article from 2021 titled, Female Firefighters Call for Los Angeles Fire Department Chief's Resignation. Look who we have here. It says, Christine Larson and Jennifer Wilcox are a part of a coalition of female firefighters in Los Angeles who are calling for Fire Chief Ralph Teresa's removal and replacement. Okay, why should he be removed? It says here that he denied cultural problems in the LA Fire Department and is letting deep-seated racism and sexism go unaddressed.
Yo.
Okay, so basically they wanted him fired because he wasn't woke enough. The rest of the article is spent throwing out a number of allegations, followed by...
I don't know about that. He may just been racist.
Zero proof that any of these events occurred. So to be perfectly honest, it sounds a lot like this was a hostile takeover from people like Christine Larson.
Oh, God.
And because of that, don't you think it's kind of a sexist initiative to say that 5% of firefighters have to be women, knowing that virtually all of them will not be as strong as their male counterparts? Have they ever said that men need to make up a certain percentage of a female-dominated field, or that field is sexist? Like, I find it weird that Christine Larson says that she's so against racism and sexism, and the article featuring her kind of suggests that they want a meritocracy instead of nepotism. Yet despite that, Christine openly brags about racist, sexist, and nepotistic policies that she incorporates herself.
And sadly, I am the only African-American female officer of any rank in the department now. So there are only 8 African-American females on the job, so I'm hoping to entice some of them to promote in the near future so that I don't remain the only one.
These hiring policies are so racist. Followed by, I'm going to focus on my black female friends so they get promoted. Gee, thanks, Christine, for fixing the nepotistic practices of the Los Angeles Fire Department by taking it from, you have to know someone to get hired, to, you have to be a female racial minority who knows someone to get hired. Now people on Twitter are pointing out that the 3 most prominent people in the LA Fire Department are 3 lesbians named some sort of variant of the name Christine, which doesn't sound very diverse at all.
Wait, all of them lesbians named Christine. Christina Crowley, Christina Kepner, Christine Larson. Christine is the only one that's different. Bruh, are you serious? That's I don't believe in coincidence, bro. I don't believe in coincidences, yo. They're all named Christina or Christine. One is named Christine, the others are named Christina. That's no coincidence, bro. They did that shit on purpose, yo. And they're all female lesbians. Okay, bro.
And as for the new fire chief, Kristen Crowley, a white woman who replaced the first Latino fire chief, which apparently they don't consider that racist. Anyway, as for Kristen Crowley, the fire department doesn't seem too happy about the way she handled the Palisades fire.
News Nation has now obtained a letter from top Los Angeles Fire Department officials demanding that the department's chief step down.
This is an absolutely scathing 5-page letter, Nicole, from chiefs, present and former, her mismanagement of this fire was terrible. Number one, they call out specifically DEI practices that she has favored instead of protecting the city.
Yo, I'm pretty sure other countries have done things like ice bombs or water bombs for fires. Bruh. UD just posted another loyalty test video like 3 minutes ago. I gotta watch that. Not right now. I want to finish what we're doing now, but I gotta watch that. Ice bomb destroys trash can. These are homemade. Firefighter, ice bomb. Dry ice bomb testing for fire suppression.
Dark.
Doesn't look like it worked. I don't think it worked. All right. Well, anyway. Yeah, no, I gotta see this one tonight.
Stay behind because you're putting potentially firefighters' lives on the line to try to save you, and getting in the way of their ability to save property or.
Wait, that's the wrong video.
Personally, I think that anyone who promotes diversity and inclusion should be laughed at and ignored because it's been demonstrated over and over again that these people do not care about enhancing the value of the service they provide to people. They only care about enhancing the value of their own bank accounts. We've seen this time and time again with Hollywood and the video game industry, which is all fun and games. I mean, it is hilarious when a woke movie flops. However, it's not funny when this stuff infects crucial parts of our society where failure means that people die or they lose.
You hear that, DEI people? You should be laughed at and mocked.
Lose their homes. And don't think that insurance is going to fix this. Conveniently, major insurance companies refuse to renew a lot of people's fire insurance shortly before this event, and the goal of insurance companies is to do everything they can to reject your claim.
Why does it seem like, look, the picture right here in the bottom, I see a duck biting the shoulder meat, like right here between the shoulder and the neck, the shoulder meat of a human. Like it's a duck biting it. That's what I see in that little picture right there. Let me know what you see.
And the goal of insurance companies is to do everything they can to reject your claim.
One of the hurricanes that blew through Florida a few months ago, they caused some flood damage to our warehouse. Nothing like too expensive to fix or anything. But we, of course, had flood insurance. Well, let me tell you, the insurance being the saints they are, they found a way to weasel out of any coverage for the flood damage, so it came all out of pocket. What was their reason for denying it? Oh, fuck, I can't remember. I think one of the big things was they didn't think the flood damage was as bad as we made it sound. And also, even if it was, it didn't do enough damage to warrant them covering any of it.
What?
So I don't think that there are a bunch of moral actors here doing their best to solve cultural issues. I think that this is the same old grift it's always been to enrich themselves and their friends. And you know it's a grift because anytime something goes wrong, nobody knows anything, or they're quick to shift the blame or the conversation to somebody else.
I'd like the President of the United States, at least the President-elect, to come and visit. The people out here, his lives have been completely torn apart.
What the fuck?
I want him to visit and understand the magnitude of this scope and what happened to the American people that happen to reside.
You want the president to visit versus just like the mayor or whatever of your country, like you. Or your country of your city, fucking holy shit, state. Ugh. You want the president to come visit instead? But you get the fuck out.
Right here in California.
I want the president to come here. This is your state, Gavin. If stuff is messed up, that's on you. It's not the president's job to clean up your mess. It's not Biden's job. It's not Trump's job. It's your job. That's what people voted you in for.
So he was the mayor?
Spend less time giving free health care to people who aren't even American citizens and actually call some fire experts. Ask what can be improved, sort those things out by how important or easy to fix they are, and start implementing change as soon as possible. It's not that hard to get to work and improve something if you actually focus on it. Anyway, the point is that the first step to improvement or the first step towards change is admitting that you're wrong. No one tries to fix something that isn't broken, so until you admit to an error or a fault, nothing will improve.
People have accountability phobia. If you cannot accurately evaluate what...
Would accountability phobia be accountophobia? Because you know how like phobias are always named differently, like arachnophobia. Obviously, it's for like phobia against spiders. What would accountability phobia be? Accountophobia? I still feel like it'd be accountophobia. Yeah. Oh, look, someone else said it right here. Look, in Asvin's chat, in Asvin's chat, right there, accountophobia. Huh.
Why a problem happened. You cannot prevent that problem from occurring in the future because you need to accurately and correctly assess why exactly something happened in order to figure out how to prevent it from happening in the future.
If you're a fireman and your biggest honor that people recognize you for is spreading diversity instead of the lives that you've saved, then you've screwed up. And the problem is that if you keep saying everything is okay and refuse to admit that something's wrong, you will fail to see a number of things that are not only completely obvious, but also pretty reasonable to fix.
A lot of people are going to see, like, they're going to remember a firefighter who saves a lot of people. They're going to remember them as a hero. A firefighter known for diversity is just going to be memorized as nothing positive. You know what I'm saying? They might be known for a short amount of time as something as, hey, that's the one I got. That's the firefighter that about diversity, blah, blah, blah. That's the diversity hire. They might remember that for, you know, a short period of time, but you won't be memorized or remembered in a good light, especially if something bad happens during your career. Then it's like, oh, that's the fucking DEI hire, and that got a lot of people killed in that one fire, or something like that. Like I don't think there's any way at minimum, like without trying to really inflate some bullshit. At minimum, it's gonna be like, oh, that's a DEI hire that paved the way for other DEI hires and crippled the strength of our firefighter team. That's the minimum.
The fact that the forest management, brush abatement, dry hydrants, lack of pre-deployment, and budget cuts, those are all issues. The fact that there's no water in the reservoirs, that's an issue.
Once you identify things that are fixable, you start knocking the easier ones out of the way. As you do that, the harder things will seem less difficult, so you start fixing those too, and then maybe the next time, only 1,000 houses will get burned down instead of 5,000. This is pretty basic stuff, and the fortunate thing about things being so bad right now is that it's not that hard to make them better if people start taking responsibility for problems that they have control over. By the way, that applies personally as much as it does politically. Anyway, thanks for watching, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
That was a good video. Shout out to TBYS, Think Before You Sleep. As always, links to his video, links to his channel, both in the description below. But yeah, I said what I had to say. So let me know if you agree with anything or disagree with anything, and why. You know what I'm saying? But diversity hires they definitely cripple the strength of whatever is going through their diversity hire. They definitely cripple that thing's strength, whether it's firefighters, police officers, whatever. No, wait, let me not say definitely, because they only cripple the strength if it's something that is heavily where like strength is a heavy reliance, and like endurance and like things like that. Because then we all know that like men are just their limits are physically higher than a woman's. It's biology. Like, all right, but anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Links to the channel and video both in the description below. Let me know. So be sure to check out Think Before You Sleep. And while you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that. In case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and night. Peace and much love to you. Peace and much love to you.